I'm Alan, and this is Prayers to the Dice Gods, and today we're looking at the Guardians of the Covenant. Guardians of the Covenant, a nice easy model to paint. The entire thing was done in around 40 minutes. That's using volumetric highlighting instead of going for primary edge highlighting. Just because it's a metallic paint, I prefer to do these this way every time, just because it helps draw the eye away from the natural shine of the metallic paint. Now we're picking out the parts of the model that are going to be black here. So we're looking at the shoulder pads, we want those to be black. Obviously the weapon is going to have black gun casing. Then we're looking to paint any of that undersuit that's showing. I've over-thinned the black here. I want it to flow into the recesses slightly better than I would normally. So my aim is to actually do 2 to 3 coats of black over all of the panels rather than just try and do it all in one. So as we move on to the Nuln Oil, you'll notice we did the black first. That is because we don't have to worry about hitting any silver bits with the black and having to touch it up, because that's a lot more hard work when you've got to go back in with the Nuln Oil over the top. You will probably get some sort of coffee staining, which we really don't want. So we've done it first. Now we're going to go around all of the silver parts of the model right now with this Nuln Oil, getting us a nice set of shading going. One of the things you want to do with your Nuln Oil is you want to try and draw that towards the bottom, because that's where we want more of the shading to appear. So as we put it on, rather than just slap it on left to right, we're trying to draw it to the top. Takes a highlight virtually straight away, so we pull it down towards the bottom. There's very little gold on this model. We're just going to go in with some Retributor armor, pick out that the symbol on the side of the gun casing, and then we're all done. So with the Rhinox hide, we're just going to move around the model, painting all of those pouches, because we're going to try and make them look a little bit like leather in a nice easy way. With our Mephiston red, we are picking out any little bits we want to be red, which on this one just happens to be the eye lenses and the lenses on the rifle. Now, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to hit that like button down below. And if you really enjoy the content and you'd like to see more as it comes out every Tuesday, click on that subscribe button along with that bell so that you get all of the notifications as and when we upload a new video. For the silver here, we're looking at volumetric highlighting as opposed to just going with the edge highlights, because I find that with the metallic paints it looks better. It also helps to draw your eye away from the whole shine down the model and focus it on those points that you want it to, which for this one is just the top edges of that model. So with the lead belcher, we've gone in first. We're picking out where we want these to go, and because of the Nuln Oil it does pick that nicely. So we get these edges done, we get the areas at the top done. Now I can see it on the camera. What we're looking at here is the shine from the lights that are over my desk, and what I was doing is using those to help pick out where I want these highlights to go, because it causes that volumetric shine on the silver. It makes it nice and simple. So like down his arm, as it attaches to the bolter, you can see there's actually a silver line, and that's actually caused by the lights before I go in and I paint that in. With a 50-50 mix of Lead Belcher and Runefang Steel, we're going to go around those highlights that we've just put in and do them slightly smaller. All of those volumetrics we want to start to look like they're going to go into a nice shine. So we're going to go around the whole model again, doing each one of those just a little bit smaller. So the next paint that we're going for is our Runefang Steel. We're going to use this to do the last lot of highlights, but what we're looking to do is actually make these slightly smaller and aimed more towards the middle of the highlights we'd already done with the lead belcher, especially along these volumetric highlights, because then that gives it more of an appearance of a shine. Our first lot of highlights on our pouches, if you've seen any of the other videos you will know, is our Mournfang Brown. Now we're working on the edges of this particular one, so we're going to go around all of the edges on each of these pouches, adding a scratch or two to the occasional one just to make it look like it's a little bit worn. Now, when it comes to the cylinder shaped pouches, what we're actually going to do is we're going to just do a type of volumetric highlight and sketch it straight down the side rather than trying to pick out any edges on it. With our XV88, we're going to go around these edges again. What we're trying to do is make them just slightly thinner than the Mournfang Brown ones. That will give it an appearance of there's some sort of wear there as the colours have changed. We're also going to use a little bit of a line underneath those scratches that we tried to put in already, just to give them a little bit more of a dimensional look, so they look more like a three-dimensional scratch as opposed to a two-dimensional one. With just a little bit of Seraphim Sepia, we're going to add that onto that gold symbol on the gun casing to try and give it a little bit more depth as a gold colour. A 50-50 mix of Retributor Armour and Runefang Steel to do the first lot of highlights. Once we're done with those, we're going to go around again, but we're going to do that with a little bit more of the Runefang Steel mixed into that, just to give it a secondary highlight, so that it does appear to have a shine where we want it to. Now, with some pure white just on the tip of our brush, we're going to go in and we're going to put some white spots onto the eye lenses and the lenses on the rifle, just to make it look like there is some sort of light shining onto them. So we're going for a nice simple black base, because he's going into the display cabinet that we're going to build. That's going to be exactly the same as the poster behind me of the Space Marine chapters. So we're going to have all 100 of them in the case, laid out exactly like they are on the poster. Because we jumped ahead a little bit by painting the base already, we didn't actually do the grey highlights, which I'll be honest, I actually forgot about. But we're going to go back in, we're going to go around the edge of each of the panels on that gun casing. Now if you look, it's actually separated by a couple of different sections, and what we're going to do is treat them as separate panels, so when we do the edge highlight, when we go around with our first lot of grey, that's what we're looking to do, go around all of them. Now that we've got the lighter grey out, what we're actually looking to do is aim at the top of each of those panels, so it looks like the light's hitting that particular spot. So I really like this one. It was a nice, simple, straightforward paint scheme for a change. There was no complications in there. There was nothing that made that particularly difficult to do. And for around about 40 minutes, looking good. I think if you're going to do a whole army of them, I don't know if you want to take the same approach that I'm doing with my Space Wolves, and that is I've decided that they are considered shiny, so they're brand new. So they don't have that level of character that proper Space Wolves do. And I say proper because I'm still not convinced by these new guys. So I'm calling them shinies. Like they do in Star Wars, they haven't proved themselves yet. They haven't earned the right to wear the extra bits like the robes on these guys. I'd love to start adding robes onto them, but they've got to earn that first. If, like me, you don't think these new guys have earned the right to have their additional parts, such as their robes, on these Guardians of the Covenant, or if it's another chapter that has a little bit more character than just a straightforward Ultramarine, leave me a message in the comments. We'll have a chat about it. In fact, even if you're not agreeing with me, leave me a note in the comments to say why you think they should have that on already. Or, like me, are you going to wait until you've managed to get into a campaign set and we'll add them on as we go along with the other benefits that you get in the campaign pack?